Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If a man is secretly attracted to you, oh, you gonna know. Now, he might not come out and say it directly because men, we got a whole degree in hiding how we feel. We're good at that. But if you pay attention to the signs, baby, they louder than a megaphone in a quiet room. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be real about something most folks don't talk about enough. Men, we don't like to talk about feelings. Not because we don't have them, but because we've been trained since we were little boys not to show too much emotion. You cry, man up. You express vulnerability, be strong. That's the messaging we've heard over and over. So by the time we become grown men expressing deep attraction or affection out loud, that's like trying to pull teeth without numbing it first. But just because we don't say it don't mean we don't show it. You want to know if a man is attracted to you? Don't sit around waiting on a speech. Watch his behavior. A man's true intentions live in what he does consistently, not in what he says occasionally. See, talk is easy. Anybody can run their mouth. But if a man shows up in your life again and again, in little ways and big ways, even when he ain't obligated to, that's where the real story is being told. That's how a man reveals himself without even knowing it. Let's say you got a long day and you just mention it in passing. That man might not say a whole lot, but watch what he does. He texts you just to ask how it's going. He calls you just to say you good. He doesn't come in with flowers and violins every time, but he comes with consistency. That's his language of attraction. That's him saying, you matter to me, without having to spell it out. And let me tell you something else. If he's into you, he's watching you, not in some over-the-top suspicious kind of way, but in a your world matters to me kind of way. He pays attention to how you talk, how you walk, what makes you laugh, what makes you stress. You might not think twice about what you said last week, but he remembered. That ain't accidental, that's intentional. And consistency, baby, that don't come from nowhere. That comes from feelings. The thing about men is we like routine. We don't just keep doing things over and over unless it means something to us. So if he keeps making time for you, keeps checking on you, keeps showing up even when he ain't required to, you better believe there's something real underneath all that. Most men aren't out here volunteering their time and energy for just anybody. If he's investing in you, he's interested in you. Even the way a man shifts his priorities can tell you everything you need to know. A man who's attracted to you will start changing little parts of his life just to make space for you. He might not say, I'm clearing my schedule because I like you, but all of a sudden he's available when you call. He's finding reasons to hang around. He's compromising without complaining. That's love language, baby. That's emotional GPS pointing straight in your direction. And here's the real kicker. If you try to bring it up, he might brush it off or downplay it. Not because he ain't feeling you, but because saying it out loud makes it real to him. And real means vulnerable. Real means risk. But the beauty of it is his actions already told on him. He already confessed without ever opening his mouth. And 9 times out of 10, if you look close enough, you'll see it plain as day. So the next time you find yourself wondering how a man really feels about you, don't just listen for the words. Watch the rhythm of how he moves around you. Watch how he treats your time. Watch how he values your presence. Because men may not always say, I'm attracted to you, but trust me, his behavior will write that story loud and clear. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how men speak from the heart, through consistency, not conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something most women don't realize. Before a man ever says a word, his eyes and his body already told the whole story. You ever heard the saying, the eyes are the windows to the soul? Well, baby, when a man is into you, them eyes become a live broadcast straight from his heart. A man who's secretly attracted to you, he don't need to say much. You'll see it in how he looks at you, how he stands around you, how his whole presence changes when you walk in the room. Now, here's the deal. Men ain't slick. We think we're hiding it, but our eyes give us away every time. You walk by and he looks up just a second too long. He holds that gaze half a second more than necessary. It's not just a look, it's focus, real deep intentional focus, like you're the only person in the room. You could be talking to somebody else, but he's scanning your face, catching your expressions, watching the way you smile, the way you laugh, like he's storing it in his memory. That's not just being polite, that's interest. And it ain't just the eyes, that body language speaks volumes. You ever notice how a man shifts his posture when you're near? He goes from slouch to alert real quick. Shoulders back, chest out, chin up. Oh, he ready for battle and don't even know why. It's instinct. That subconscious response says, I want you to see me as strong, confident, capable. And he ain't rehearsing this stuff. His body is talking all on its own. It's like his soul's trying to impress you before his mouth even joins the conversation. Sometimes when a man is really into you, he starts mirroring you. That's psychology 101. You cross yours, he crosses his. You lean forward, he leans with you. It's unconscious, but it's powerful. It means he's emotionally tuned in, syncing with your energy. He don't even know he's doing it, but his body is matching your rhythm because he's feeling a connection he can't explain. Watch how close he gets. Not in a creepy way, but in a let me be in your orbit kind of way. He don't want to stand across the room if he can help it. He finds a reason to be just a little closer. If you're sitting down, he chooses the seat near you. If you're walking, he naturally adjusts to your pace. He's aligning himself with you without ever making a formal move. That's body language attraction. That's the invisible pull of interest at work. Now let's talk about nervous energy. A lot of times when a man likes you but ain't trying to let it show, he gets a little twitchy. He starts fidgeting, rubbing his neck, tapping his fingers, laughing at stuff that ain't even that funny. That ain't just nerves, that's pressure. That's him trying to keep cool while his insides are doing cartwheels. His body is trying to play it off, but it can't lie. His attraction is leaking out through every movement. And don't overlook the accidental touches. I'm not talking about anything inappropriate. I'm talking about those subtle, almost oops type of moments. His hand brushes yours when he hands you something. His shoulder bumps into you in a crowd and he lingers just a half second too long before stepping back. See, when a man is feeling something for you, he wants to be in your space. That's human nature. That's desire with manners. So if you ever wondering whether a man is feeling you and he ain't said nothing yet, just watch. His body already wrote the letter. His eyes already sent the message. His whole energy shifts when you're around. And that ain't coincidence. That's chemistry. That's a heart trying to whisper something the mouth ain't brave enough to say yet. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to stop acting like love is only proven by big, flashy Hollywood type moves. All that stuff you see in the movies, the candlelight dinners on a rooftop, the surprise trips to Paris, the roses spelled out in your driveway. That's cute. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But that ain't the real indicator of a man's interest. See, any man with money or a flair for drama can pull off one big romantic jet. But let me tell you what takes real feeling, real investment. It's those small, consistent, thoughtful actions that don't get a round of applause. That's when you know he's feeling something deep. See, a man who is secretly attracted to you isn't waiting for Valentine's Day to show you you're special. Nah, he's doing it in little ways that you might not even notice at first. You say you're cold, he takes off his jacket and hands it to you without even thinking. You mentioned once that you like mint gum. He starts keeping a pack in his car just in case. He remembers the exact way you take your coffee, and next thing you know, he's bringing it to you without asking. That's not a coincidence. That's interesting. When a man is attracted to you, he starts studying you, not like you're some science project, but like you're a song he wants to learn by heart. He starts anticipating your needs. You don't have to ask. He's already one step ahead. You're stressed out, he shows up with your favorite snack. You got a big meeting coming up, he sends a good luck message first thing in the morning. That ain't for show. That's care, baby. That's him thinking about you when you're not around. Now let me tell you something that's even bigger than gifts or surprises. It's when a man adjusts his behavior for your comfort. You say you're not a fan of loud bars. Next weekend, he's suggesting a cozy spot instead. You talk about how your day was exhausting and he offers to just sit and chill in silence with you. That man is listening. Not just hearing your words, but listening with intention. That ain't just attraction, that's attention. And those two don't always come in the same package. A real one, when he's feeling you, he starts giving you his time. Not just leftover time, not when I get around to it time. I'm talking about quality time, effort time, the kind where he shows up when he could be doing anything else, the kind where he makes a choice to include you in his world slowly, quietly, intentionally. It's the effort behind the action that makes it loud. The world might not see it, but you'll feel it. Sometimes the loudest love comes in the softest ways. That ride home when you didn't ask, that random check-in text, that memory he brings up from a tiny conversation y'all had weeks ago. Those little things, that's love under construction. That's a man showing his feelings brick by brick, not billboard by billboard. It ain't grand, but it's real. You got to watch how he treats the parts of your life that don't benefit him. If he's encouraging your dreams, being patient with your flaws, asking about your mama, remembering the name of your dog, that man ain't faking. He's invested. His feelings are woven into the everyday, and his loving you with thought, not just theatrics. So don't be fooled by the guy who brings you roses once a year but can't show up for you on a random Tuesday. The man who's really into you, he's proven it through quiet, consistent actions. He ain't shouting it from the rooftops, but he's showing it every single day. And that's where the truth is, in the little things, in the details, in the kind of effort that don't ask for credit. Ladies and gentlemen, let me break something down to you right now. A man who's secretly attracted to a woman will always find a reason to be in her space. He might not have a plan. He might not even know what he's going to say when he gets there, but best believe he going to show up. He ain't slick. He'll play it cool, act like he just passed by like, oh, I didn't know you'd be here. But the truth is, he knew. He planned that accidental moment like a whole mission. That man has already rehearsed it in his mind 5 times. Why? Because when a man feels something real for a woman, just being near her brings him peace. It brings him excitement. It brings him a connection he probably doesn't even know how to process. Now, here's the thing. Most men don't walk up and say, I like you, can I spend time with you? Nah, that's too vulnerable. That's too risky. But what he will do is find the most random reasons to stay in your presence. You at work, and he's suddenly always walking past your desk. You in the break room, and he just happens to need coffee at the same time every day. That ain't random. That's intention disguised as coincidence. You mentioned you going to that local event on Friday night. Don't be surprised if he pops up there just checking it out. If you're working on a project or planning something, he suddenly wants to help, even if he doesn't know the first thing about what you're doing. It's not about the activity. It's about the access. Being near you is the goal. Spending time in your energy, hearing your voice, catching glimpses of your smile, that's what he came for. He's going to ask questions he already knows the answers to just so he can keep the conversation going. He'll come up to you like, hey, what was that show you said you liked again? Even though he remembers it clearly, it's just an excuse to talk to you again, to engage with you, to make sure you keep thinking about him the way he can't stop thinking about you. You ever notice how when you're talking in a group, his eyes keep finding you? Or how when everyone else leaves, he lingers? That's no accident. That's him finding moments to stretch time with you. Because when a man's drawn to a woman, time moves different around her. 5 minutes feels like 20, and even 20 minutes feels too short. And don't overlook how he inserts himself into your world slowly. He'll show interest in what you're interested in, not because he's trying to fake something, but because he wants to understand what makes you light up. If you like art, he suddenly wants to know about museums. If you're into fitness, he starts asking about your workout routine. It's all a bridge to get closer to you, not through pressure, but through presence. Sometimes he don't even have a solid reason to talk to you. He'll say something completely unnecessary, like, I was just thinking about something funny that happened, and boom, now he's in your space, creating connection. Testing the waters. He's not making a move, but he's making himself familiar, comfortable, steady. That's the groundwork. That's how he lets you into his emotional orbit without putting it all on the table. That's why you got to pay attention, not to what he says, but how often he says something. Not to where he shows up, but how often he seems to appear where you are. If he's always just around, always finding reasons to check in, always making time for conversations that could have ended 2 minutes ago but didn't, that man is feeling you, and he's trying to keep a connection alive without saying too much too soon. A man who wants to be near you even when there's no obvious reason, that's a man whose heart is already walking ahead of his words. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about men. That's real simple, but a lot of folks miss it. When a man is truly attracted to you, one of the clearest signs you'll see is that protective instinct kicking in. Now, I ain't talking about some over-the-top, let me fight everybody in the room type of behavior. Now, I'm talking about the subtle ways he steps into that protector role without making it a big deal. See, a man who feels something for you don't need a title to act like you matter. That attraction shows up in how he watches out for you. Soft, smooth, silent, but always present. You out somewhere and it's getting late. He don't just say goodbye. He's asking how you're getting home. He's checking if you got someone walking you to your car. And if you don't, he's volunteering, no questions asked. That ain't just about being polite. That's about peace of mind. That's him wanting to know you're safe because you being okay matters to him, even if he hasn't said that out loud yet. If you ever get into a situation where somebody's being rude or crossing the line, watch how he reacts. That man who's feeling you might not make a whole scene, but he'll position himself just right, physically, emotionally, energetically, to make it known, hey, she ain't by herself. He don't got to throw punches, but he'll give a look that says, watch yourself. And that's because when a man is attracted to you, protecting you becomes automatic. He does it without even realizing he's doing it. It could be something as simple as walking on the street side of the sidewalk. That's old school, but real men still do it. It's his way of saying, if something comes this way, it's going to hit me first. And again, he ain't trying to be a hero. He's not trying to impress you with big gestures. He just feels something, and that feeling moves him to action. That's how men love, with their instinct. Sometimes it's even in the advice he gives. You might be talking about your job, your health, or a friendship that's stressing you out, and out of nowhere, he's giving you solid, grounded suggestions, like you need to rest, or don't let that person talk to you like that. That's him looking out for your well-being. He wants you to win. He wants to see you whole. That's protection that comes from the heart. And let's talk about emotional protection, because that's a different kind of strong. A man who's attracted to you will try to protect your spirit. He watches his words more carefully around you. He avoids teasing that hits too hard. He tries not to be the one who brings you down. You might not even notice it, but he's choosing kindness, patience, and respect more often when it comes to you. And that ain't just manner. That's interest, baby. That's care showing up before commitment ever does. Even in a group, pay attention to how he acts. You say something and folks brush it off, but he circles back to it. He hears you. He respects your voice. If you're quiet, he checks in. If you're uncomfortable, he notices first. That's his radar going off. And it only does that when his heart is invested. A man's protectiveness is one of the rawest, oldest signals of attraction there is. It's not always loud, but it's always real. He's not trying to control you. He's just wired to make sure you're okay. And that right there, that's not just some habit. That's emotion wrapped in action. That's silent affection. That's a man saying, you're important to me, without ever having to raise his voice. Ladies and gentlemen, let me pull back the curtain on something most women overlook. If you really want to know how a man feels about you, don't just watch him, watch his crew. Yeah, that's right. His homeboys, his inner circle, the ones that have been rolling with him for years, because trust me, when a man is secretly attracted to you, his friends are going to give it away before he ever does. They can't help it. It might be good at keeping a poker face, but they friends, they ain't got no filter when it comes to teasing, smirking, or acting different when you come around. Now here's the thing, fellas talk, even the quiet ones, especially when they got a crush they trying to keep low-key. It may not be emotional talk. He ain't sitting around saying, man, I think she's the one. But he'll say just enough that his friends know, he might bring your name up more than usual. He might start acting different whenever you text. So when you walk into the room, his boys already know what's up. And that's when the show starts. You'll notice the teasing first. It's playful, but loaded. The jokes ain't harsh, they're slick. They'll throw out little comments like, oh, look who just lit up. Or, you act different when she's around. See, that's their way of calling him out without putting him all the way on blast. They know what's happening. They saw how his energy shifts when your name pops up. And now that you're in the room, they can't help themselves. Sometimes they won't even say anything. They'll just start acting different. That one friend who's always cracking jokes, suddenly he's real quiet and just smirking. That other one who usually ain't paying attention to anybody, now he's glancing at your guy, just waiting to see how he reacts when you talk. You can feel it. It's like the vibe in the room changes, not in a bad way. Like there's a secret floating around and you just stepped into the middle of it. And here's the funny part. A man can try his best to stay cool, but when his friends are watching, he starts slipping. He starts over-explaining his words around you, or he tries too hard to act casual, or he gets quiet when they tease him like he's trying not to give it away. That ain't just awkwardness. That's attraction under pressure. That's a man trying to play defense while his team is already celebrating the touchdown. And don't miss how protective his friends become. You think it's just him? Nah. His boys will start acting like security guards too. They'll make sure nobody disrespects you. They'll listen when you talk. They might even try to feel you out, ask you questions, try to see what kind of person you are. Why? Because if he's into you, they're already checking to see if you, someone who deserves to be in his life. Men don't usually bring women around their friends unless they feel something. So if he's letting you interact with the people closest to him, that's not just casual, that's calculated. That's a test and a reveal at the same time. And if they start acting funny, teasing him, giving each other looks while pretending nothing's happening, baby, that's confirmation. That's how you know you made an impact he's trying to hide. So if you're wondering where his heart is, sometimes the answer ain't in his words, it's in his circle. His crew is the chorus to the song he's still writing. And if they grinning every time you show up, trust me, the man already caught feelings. His silence might lie, but his boys, they already told on him.